decided when you're going live, the next thing that you need to do is to make sure that people actually show up to your events. Now, one of the things that I found over the years is that with many business owners, there is a lot of time and effort and energy spent in planning the event in terms of what kind of event are you going to do, what are you going to sell, how are you going to sell, what kind of entertainment are you going to offer, things like that. But not a lot of time is spent on the actual promotional activities, in that we often will share about, like, there's something coming. Hey, there's a live event coming. Hey, I'm going live. Hey, I'm going to sell something. So we tell people that something's happening, but we don't do a lot in terms of marketing the event and promoting the event, which is creating a desire for people to come to the event, making sure that they know why they would want to come and what they're going to get out of it, as opposed to simply telling them there's this event that exists and you need to be there, right? So that a lot of people will try to get people to events simply by telling them that the event is happening. Whereas what we really need to be doing is marketing the event to people to make sure that they want to come, that there is something there that they're like, yes, this is something that I'm looking forward to. It's something that I want to do. I need to be at this space. Because simply having an event is not enough to get people to show up. So the issue that a lot of people run into is that they set up these really incredible events, but don't do enough work promoting it. So they're not able to get a lot of people to attend, which means their event is now not as successful as they would like. So in order to compensate for that, in order to like make up for that, all you need to do is promote. Generally speaking, you want to spend a lot more time promoting for an event than you actually spend in the event. So most of us spend an enormous amount of time in the event itself and planning that event, but you really want to spend equal or more time on how you're going to promote the event and how you're going to get people to attend it. Okay. So before we dive into exactly how that's done and when you're going to do it and what you're going to say and things like that, the first thing I want to share with you is the fact that there are two different types of events that we're going to promote, and their promotional techniques are going to be different depending on the type of event that it is. The first type of event is a one-time event. Okay, so this is an event that happens on a special occasion. It's kind of like the Academy Awards, the Super Bowl, Black Friday sales, Christmas, July 4th, Valentine's Day. These are special events that you will usually do a special sale for, a special event for, but it's not like that particular event is something that happens routinely. This could also be something that you decide what it is. So you say, well, I'm having my anniversary this year, or it's my birthday, or whatever it is. That becomes your special event that you have created. You may actually just make something up. You might be like, it's Loving Dogs Day, and I'm going to do this big event for loving dogs. Absolutely perfect. You can do that too, as long as it's just something that is outside of the ordinary and outside of routine. Okay, so that's the one type of event. The other type of event is a routine event. Now, these are going to be more like your weekly sales, things that you do on a regular basis that falls into a routine. So it's something that you're going to do every Thursday or every day or every Tuesday at 1 or once every other week. Whatever it is, it's on a specific timer, a routine, and a schedule. And people they can bring it into their regular routine. So they're like, oh, on Tuesdays, I have breakfast at 8 a.m. and then I watch Manessa live, right? So it's something that they will eventually put into their own routine. And so they will have a lot of internal momentum that will drive them to your event. It's always going to be easier to get people to routine events once they get used to it, just because it falls into their regular day-to-day routine, than it will be to get somebody to come to a one-off event. Those are things that are much more likely to be forgotten. Oh my God, I forgot that the Academy Awards were happening, rather than something that happens routinely where it's just something that they do out of habit and often they won't even realize, oh, look, I'm here because it's Tuesday. I didn't think about it. Now, if you're going to do a routine event, one of the things to keep in mind is that, because your audience is going, we're trying to use to get people to attend in this case is the natural momentum of a routine. You want to make sure that you're picking a date and a time for yourself that works for you. Okay, this is really important when you're first starting out, is that you're going to want to pick a date and a time that you're going to stick with and be like, this is my date and time. But when you're first starting out, you're probably going to want to experiment a little bit to figure out what works best for you. This is really important when it comes to scheduling routine events, because in this case, we're not necessarily picking it based off of your audience. We're picking it based off of when works best for you and your audience. So what I mean by that is that you're going to want to sit with your family and discuss with them, right? What times work best for me going live? When can I get assistance from you? When are you guys not going to be busy, right? Sitting and finding a time that works with your whole family or works with your whole living, whoever it is that you live with, will be really, really helpful, because then it is something that everybody is collectively involved in and can commit to assisting you with. It's a lot more helpful than, say, you saying that I'm going to go live at 9 a.m. on Mondays, and then you find out that, well, your kid has soccer at 10, and then you have to make breakfast at 8, and it's like it's falling in between a very, very hectic time. So chances are you're always going to find it very stressful. You're going to often miss out on it, or when you actually do it, you're going to find that you don't enjoy it because you're trying to make sure you get started on time, and you're trying to make sure you can wrap up super quickly so that you can get to the very next thing. A more effective way to do it is to sit and plan something out with your family, knowing that it's going to be trial and error, that you guys might try it for a week or two and then be like, you know what, that doesn't work for me. I'm going to try it. Let's try a different date. Remember what we talked about in those first 3 months. Those first 3 months are your experimentation. That's where you want to make these kinds of changes, test things out, and figure out what actually works for you. While you are testing it out, still act like that's going to be the day that you're going to do it. So this becomes your date and time that you do your routine event. Kind of like the Today Show is on at the same time every day. The Tonight Show, same time every day. Whatever these shows are, they're on at the same time every week, same time every day, same time every month. But it's going to be at the same time. You need to know what that is in advance so that you can start planning. Okay, so now once you have your date and time selected, the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to actually start promoting. Now, with promotion, you need to keep in mind that it is trial and error. Okay, so you're gonna promote sometime in the morning and promote sometime in the evening. You're gonna try promoting with lives. You're gonna try promoting with video. You're gonna try promoting with GIFs. You're gonna try promoting with giveaways and with fun games. There's a lot of different things you're gonna try as you are promoting, and there is a checklist and a worksheet as a bonus for this lesson that gives you a lot of ideas of what you can do to get to promote an event. But keep in mind that though there are many, many different options available for you in terms of how you can promote a routine event, you don't have to do all of them. Much like we talked about before, just pick a couple that work for you, and then those are going to become the things that you work on a routine basis when you promote things, so you don't have to think about them all the time. Now, the other thing to keep in mind with routine events is that you may want to consider giving your events names, right? So like 80s Thursdays or Throwback Thursdays or Mindset Mondays or things like that. So if you go live on, say, a Monday and you want it to be like a Mindset Monday, you can give it a name. You can give it any name you want, but the key thing to keep in mind is that if you give it a name, it gives it something for your audience to let it, sort of hang on to. Oh, I'm going to watch Mindset with Vanessa Mondays, right? Or I'm going to watch Mindset Mondays or things like that. It helps your audience to keep it at top of mind, and just falls into the way that, alliteration falls into the way that we like to talk. These themes allow us to connect the event with something that we are already positively aligned with, so that when someone says, oh, it's 80s night with Vanessa, you're excited because it's 80s night, also because it's Vanessa, not just because it's Vanessa. So I've added an extra level of enthusiasm simply by tapping into something that you like already, okay? So when you are thinking about promotion, you want to think about, one, how you're naming your events and what you're going to be doing in those events, and really latch on to what some of those things are in the event that your audience would find interesting or compelling as a reason to attend, because it's something that they're interested in anyway. This goes back to what you learned in stage 2 about your customer. So whatever you learn about your customer and the things that they like and the things that they're interested in that you guys have in common, those are going to be the kinds of things that get you the most attention during these events, because they're things that you're already interested in. Okay. When you're thinking about how you plan routine events, something to consider also is how people, how TV shows and news programs promote themselves for daily or routine activities, right? So they use a very different type of promotion for the morning news tomorrow, or for what's going to be on the Tonight Show tonight, than they would for something like the Academy Awards, right? It's usually like they assume that you're going to know that the Tonight Show exists. They're not going to tell you what the Tonight Show is. They're just going to say, hey, so-and-so is a guest on the Tonight Show, just to let you know what's happening. So if you have a routine event, you're going to rely on the fact that your audience is often very familiar with the fact that you do this event, and you're letting them know what's happening on this event. So it's a very different type of promotion. So I want you to think about the fact that it's something that you have a lot more tools helping to get people to a routine event than you do for a special event. Now, special events, this is where it gets really challenging, because on a routine event, you're going to have the same kind of promotion every time. Once you get used to how you're promoting an event, where you're like, okay, if my event is going to be on a Friday, I'm going to have a couple of promotional posts on a Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and then I'm going to have an email that goes out. And after a while, it'll be very routine, and you just kind of send it out, and you don't really have to think about it very much. It doesn't take a lot of time. However, for special events, it's a little different, because these are usually events where the time is chosen for you by circumstances. You are going to be on a deadline. They can also be things like fundraisers and whatnot, but usually, again, you're going to be on a deadline. These require more intense promotion, consistent promotion, and you really need to be in your audience's face, because they're not going to remember that this event is happening. There is a reason why the Super Bowl and the Academy Awards and these big one time a year events have such huge marketing budgets, and it's because the event itself is happening outside of the ordinary day-to-day life of the people who would usually participate in it. And as a result, they are more likely to forget that it's going to happen. They're more likely to not remember what time it's going to be at. You have within that group, you have a subset of other people. So you have your diehard football fans, your diehard Academy Award fans, your diehard fans, and they're probably never going to forget, right? But they don't really need to do advertising for those people. Now, this is where most business owners lose everyone, okay? In both sets, the routine sets and the special event set, you have a group of people that are your diehards. They love you, okay? Those are the people that you can probably name off the top of your head right now. Those people don't need all of the extra promotion. They're going to do whatever it takes to get there. Once they see at least one post saying that something's happening, right? One post, all they need to do is see that one post. They'll put it in their calendar and they'll remember. The problem is that's why most business owners end up saying things like, I only see the same few people shopping over and over again. It's because the only people that you're actually marketing to are those people who are already the diehards. The reason why you need to do all of this extra promotion is because the people who are not diehard. So I love football, but I don't watch it all the time. So I'm going to forget that the Super Bowl is coming, and I want to watch it, but I'm going to forget. I need them to put a lot of advertising. I need it to be on social media. I need it to be on Facebook. I need it to be on the web. I need it to be on television. I need it to be in a flyer that comes in my mailbox. I need it on my phone. I need to be reminded constantly, so that as the day gets closer, I'm like, oh yeah, the Super Bowl is coming. The Super Bowl is coming. And then I remember on the day of, instead of having a situation where I'm like, the Super Bowl is coming. The Super Bowl is coming. Oh, look, a squirrel. And then the Super Bowl goes and I'm like, oh, what? The Super Bowl happened? Oh my God, I really wanted to watch that. That is what a lot of your potential customers are experiencing when they see your content and they're like, oh, I want to go to that event. You may think that it's because they don't want to come. For many people, it's just that you let them know it was coming. They're like, oh, I'm excited. But then you never promoted after that. And so they just forgot. And then they found out about it like a week after. And then they'll say things like, oh my God, I didn't know it was happening. Or, oh, I didn't see it. Or, oh my gosh, I wanted to come to that, but I missed it, right? That is going to happen anyway, but you can compensate for a huge, significant amount of loss by promoting more often, okay? So you want to promote these special events 7 days in advance, and we're talking intense promotion 7 days in advance. We're not talking a light tap on the shoulder where you whisper and say, I have a sale coming. No, we're talking, yo guys, we've got sales, and you tell them every single day that something's happening. We've got something great coming. This is why you want to attend, compelling them with those reasons why they would want to attend. That's how you're actually going to get them. Not by simply having a good event. It's going to be by promoting that good event, right? These types of events often are thematic. They'll have something very big. There's usually giveaways, there's games, there's prizes. So there's usually a lot of fun stuff to use as promotion. So it's not super hard to get a lot of the stuff. It's just important to keep in mind that you need to do the promotion. Now, when you think about, because we've been talking about promotion conceptually, right? We've been saying, okay, you've got, you can promote routinely and you can promote special events. You got to promote intently. You got to promote routinely. So we've got all the basics in terms of understanding of like what the promotion is, right? Next is how do you promote it? Okay, so we're totally on board with the fact that I need to do it a lot, but what happens? How do we actually make that happen? Okay. First thing to keep in mind is that you can promote in a lot of different places and in a lot of different ways. You can promote to your email list. You can promote to your text messaging list. You can promote on social media. You can promote on Eventbrite. By doing things on Nextdoor and Eventbrite, they will promote for you. If you have any sort of account, social media accounts, or like on Clubhouse where you can put a link in bio, or Instagram, your link in bio is a great place for you to direct people over to the event that you're having. If you're on social media, okay, if you're on social media, and that's usually where most of my clients are promoting, because they're not usually using some of these other spaces, so I really strongly encourage that you do that. Is one, you have to think of it as priming your audience. Okay, so if you're going to be selling on social and you're going to try to promote your event on social, you have to prime your audience. Okay, one day where you tell them that the event is happening tomorrow, or the live is happening tomorrow, or the live is happening on Tuesday is not going to be enough. You need to have several days of promotion where you're talking about this event, talking about the thing that's happening, in order to prime them and make sure that they're like, oh yeah, something is happening. Remember that Facebook only shows your content to about 1% of your audience. So just because you're posting about an event doesn't mean people are being notified. It just means that you made the post, okay? Two is use a lot of variety. Okay, so when you're promoting, you don't want to think about only promoting like with a post and a text and image, text and image, text and image. You want to think about promoting in different ways. So for example, let's say I was going to be doing an event where I was going to sell the Social Strategy Squad, right? That's what I'm selling. So the Social Strategy Squad Roadmap to Success has steps that will walk you through video. It's going to walk you through finding your target audience. It's going to walk you through emails, right? It's going to walk you through networking, right? We're going to walk you through those things. So the things that I would do to promote this would be, I might talk about networking. I might talk about some tips about how you can how you can deal with anxiety when you're networking, which I will definitely share with you in stage 5. I may talk about, hey, this is why people aren't engaging with your content. These are all really short videos, or they're really short posts, or they're reels, or they're stories, where I'm basically giving you some information to tell you why what you're doing isn't working. It only takes a few seconds. If, for example, when I sold clothes, I could do short videos that basically said, all right, hey, are you having trouble with your clothes shelving, right? So that's when you get that little like roll up here with cloth, right? And I could do a short video that says, hey, you know, if you find that your clothes are shelving, it means that you're wearing sizes that are too small for you, and your clothes are kind of like riding up. So if you get a size bigger, that won't happen to you, right? So now that's a video where I am priming people by teaching them something new about the way that they dress. And then say a couple of posts later, I might say something like, if you're looking for something that is a better fit so that your clothes don't shelf up, I'm having an event, right? So now I basically said, here's the problem. The problem is your clothes don't fit right. Here's the solution. I'll help you. I'll do a live where I'll tell you how you can pick your correct sizes. That's how you get people to attend the event, by talking about the things that you're going to talk about in the event, or the kind of value that they can get in the event. But ultimately what you're doing is you're teasing them. You're teasing them with the information that there's going to be more and more better stuff in there. You don't tease people by simply saying, I'm going to tell you something on Friday that's going to help you dress better. You could say those words, but that's not going to get anybody feeling like you understand what they're talking about. However, if you start with a problem, solve that problem for them, and then tell them you'll give them more answers later, they're more likely to attend. Or if you do a myth busting, right, where you do here, or two truths and a lie, which one of these is a lie, right? Tell me which one you think is the lie. Getting people to have conversations about things that are adjacent to what it is that you're doing, but it's not exactly like a straight shot, right? So if you're selling clothes, you're not actually talking about selling clothes when you're priming people. You're actually building relationships with them with topics that are adjacent to that. And a lot of those topics are going to be things that you got from the 14-day content calendar and your finding your customers. The content that actually goes into these posts is stuff that is born from the information that you got there. Now, if you're having trouble connecting these two pieces, how do I connect my target audience, the person that I'm targeting, with the event that I'm having, with the promotional content? Because that's where a lot of the trouble comes in for many, many business owners. I want to encourage you to go to the squad wall and ask the question there, because that is where it's going to become that's where it's going to be very, very important. That is where you're going to get stuck. That is what's going to hold you back. And that's what's going to keep people from attending your lives. So massaging that spot is going to be very critical. So definitely ask about it on the wall. Okay. All right. So the next thing that I want you to do is download the Boost Your Life checklist and worksheet for this video. Okay, so there is a bonus for this video. It is a Boost Your Life checklist and a worksheet. And what I want you to do is download it and look at the first page. Okay, so only look at the first page to start. We're going to talk a lot more about the second page afterwards, but I want you to take a look at it because it's going to give you the idea an idea of how you want to organize your live and the kinds of things that you're going to want to do to promote it. Okay. Very next, we're going to talk about what actually goes inside the post that you're making to promote your event. All right. I'll see you there.